Only a few Freemason chapters hold the key to the Illuminati. These chapters are hidden within the entirety of Masonry. What that means is that Freemasonry is compartmentalized within chapters, so one chapter doesn't really know what the other chapters are doing. The Illuminati type of setup is explained through the round table or a series of rings. And the inner ring knows what the outer rings know, but the outer rings do not know what the inner rings know. The truth is that the Illuminati have hidden their fraternal order within the guise of thousands of chapters that are nameless, faceless entities, so all eternity can be spent looking for who they are and be misdirected to the people that you think they are. Certainly we know some of the key players, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the bloodline families, the 13 bloodline families. Now, without Freemasonry even knowing that they exist. Simple military diversion tactic. And then they conceal their true religion by wrapping it in Christian values, building legitimate chapters, spreading far and wide, doing God's work, quote unquote, good deeds. And no one really knows that these select groups are working otherwise. The upper levels of Freemasonry believe that Lucifer is God and the bearer of light. He is God. And of course, the G is supposed to represent God and geometry in the Masonic symbol. These high-level Masons believe that the earth has existed through 5 cycles, and that ancient man has risen and fallen 5 times and has achieved space and cosmos travel multiple times, and that the earth has cleansed itself numerous times, and of course the cavemen were just coming out of the hole of Armageddon each time. Kubrick's 2001 explains this, and it reveals the secrets of these mystery schools. Now we'll go a little deeper into it. To simply look at the names of famous Masons reveals very little. When you date and place those names in a proper timeline and placement of power, you begin to see the deception and the vastness of this power elite. And what's even more shocking is to learn who the powers are behind the Freemasons. When you look at the death of non-Masonic presidents or those who have lost favor, and the shuffling of the vice presidents to get them in position of takeover before the presidents were killed or removed, this becomes even more revealing. When you note the number of presidential running mates who lost the presidency race were also Masons. So when you look back and forth at our quote-unquote political system, you have Masons running against Masons. One of the reasons why we're moving towards this socialist world government, because of this ring of control, these compartmentalized rings. The Illuminati doctrine instills the 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx, who was, yes, you guessed it, a Freemason. By the way, so was Joseph Stalin, FDR, and Winston Churchill. Starting to get the picture? Is it starting to come into focus, ladies and gentlemen? I hope. Another interesting fact is that of the 37 presidents of the United States before Jimmy Carter, at least 21 were close relatives. Freemasons Barack Obama and the Bushes are related by blood. That's right, they're cousins. Between 48.6% and 56.7% of our presidents have been Freemasons. Far too much to be coincidence, as any conspiratologist or mathematician would tell you. Of the 224 ancestors in the family tree of 21 presidents, we find 13 Roosevelts, 16 Coolidges, and 14 Tylers. Another source manages to relate 60% of the presidents and the link of most of them to the super-rich Astor family. Remember they died when the Titanic went down? They were on the Titanic. John Jacob Astor. And who was the ship's captain? Smith? A 33rd degree Mason, Freemason, part of the club. You see, John Jacob Astor was against the the Federal Reserve. He was against fiat currency. He was a gold standard person. Similarly was Garfield, who was killed. And I know it's like they've painted history to look at all these conspiracies, these crazy people and conspiracies. They're just covering up the truth, ladies and gentlemen, that really we have, unfortunately, a very wicked and evil undertone in this country. And all you have to do is look at the wars in our lifetime to see how that is true, where we're going in and freeing liberty, bringing liberty and freedom to nations at the cost of millions of lives. We speak peace and make war. There's a reason for it. And we're uncovering it, this onion, this layered onion, piece by piece, layer by layer. This bottomless pit of evil, this spider web of evil, it all meets in a bottomless pit in the middle. But we have to know why and understand so we can regain what the Founding Fathers gave us, because they were certainly not perfect men. Ben Franklin was a Satanist, so was Thomas Jefferson. They were deists, basically, but they were outwardly satanic. It's just the truth. But the republic that they created and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights truly gave the power to the people. And slowly over time, this power is shifted so the government has the power over the people. As I said, their god is Lucifer. That is the secret, one of the secrets, one of the many secrets, one of the many ancient secrets, the knowledge, the forbidden knowledge, quote unquote, the hidden knowledge of the ages. Now, the Masons write most of American history, for example. They own Encyclopedia Britannica, so that helps to get a point of view across. And I've said that many times with the foundations and the controlling of education through the books and publishing, and giving schools and scholarships, these benevolent tax-exempt foundations doing their benevolent godly work, right? The god of Lucifer, yes, the light bearer, the fallen son of the morning star. Yes, that's who they serve, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake about it. So as Masonry goes through the 32 degrees of the Scottish Rite, they end up giving worship to every Egyptian pagan god, the gods of Persia, gods of India, Greek gods, Babylonian gods, and many others. And as you come to the 17th degree, the Masons then claim that they'll give you a password that will give entrance at the judgment day of the Masonic deity, the great architect of the universe. It's very interesting that the secret password is Abaddon, A-B-A-D-D-O-N. In Revelation 9:11, interestingly enough, 9:11, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, they had a king over them, the angel of the abyss, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek, Apollon. The angel of the abyss, hell, is really the chief demon, whose name is Abaddon. Masons claim then that the deity they worship is Abaddon. Abaddon and Apollon both mean destroyer. See, destruction of the trade centers, occult symbolism indicates enemies within our own government. As I said, the world, and here's a quote, "The world is governed by people far different from those imagined by the public." Benjamin Disraeli wrote that in a book, Victorian era, Prime Minister of Britain. And of course, here's another great quote going back. Sir Francis Bacon, beginning in the early 1590s, began the detailed plans by which North America would be colonized. He was the supreme adept in the Rosicrucian Society and established the super-secret Knights of the Helmet. This is actually from page 123 and 129 in Masonic Forefathers. A society established along the lines of Rosicrucianism, and finally Bacon was responsible for the modern birth of Freemasonry as detailed by Masonic author George V. Tudhope in his book Bacon Masonry, reprinted by Kessinger's So thus we can see occult activities of our original occult forefathers mentioned above was merely the outworking of an occult plan originally conceived thousands of years before Columbus ever sailed. Our Masonic forefathers were merely following the details of the occult plan as envisioned specifically by Sir Francis Bacon in the 1590s, operating according to the vision provided him by his guiding spirit. July 16th, 1782, the year after the British surrendered to the Americans, representatives of the world secret societies convened at the Congress of Wilhelmsbad in Europe and formally joined Masonry and the Illuminati. This is how the compartmentalization worked. This is how it started in the United States, and now they truly control this country through their powerful, powerful world, international, global ventures. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why globalism is so important, and world socialism. It is the doctrines of the Illuminati. So, the next 4 years, the order was able to secretly establish lodges in America. In 1785, the Columbian Lodge of the Order was established in New York City. Columbia Pictures came out of this. The whole idea of Columbia, anything with, when you see the statue, it's not the Statue of Liberty. That's what everyone thinks when they see Columbia Pictures. No, no. Here's a quote from Manly P. Hall from The Lost Keys of Freemasonry on page 124. When the Mason learns that the key to the warrior on the block is the proper application of the dynamo of living power, he has learned the mystery of his craft. The seething energies of Lucifer are in his hands, and before he may step onward and upward, he must prove his ability to properly handle energy. The Treaty of 1783 completely contradicts our having won the Revolutionary War. The treaty was signed in 1783. The war was over in 1781. If the United States defeated England, how is the king granting rights to America when we were now his equal in status? We supposedly defeated him in this Revolutionary War, no? So why would these supposed patriots, Americans, sign such a treaty when they knew that it would void any sovereignty that was gained by the Declaration of Independence and the Revolutionary War? You see, the United States is still a British colony. In 1783, the Revolutionary War ended, as we were taught in school, when Cornwallis surrendered to Washington at Yorktown, right? Well, that's what I was taught in school. But when you look and you do some research and you actually see that history has been written by these Freemasons, and they've been hiding a lot. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, they've been hiding the fact that they're working for a socialist, totalitarian world government. The New World Order. That is what they've been working for. That's what they are working for. And that's what they will always be working for. We have to understand and know our enemy. The enemy is Illuminism. These illuminated Satanists, Luciferians. I've said it many times. By the way, Prince Charles' coat of arms has yet another symbol, the Order of the Garter. The Order of the Garter is the parent organization over Freemasonry worldwide. When a man becomes a 33rd degree Mason, he swears allegiance to that organization, and thereby to Prince Charles. In 1785, George Washington, in a letter to the Reverend G.W. Snyder, wrote, "Reverend Sir, it is not my intention to doubt that the doctrine of the Illuminati, the principles of Jacobinism, had not spread in the United States. On the contrary, no one is more satisfied of this fact than I. Shortly before he died, President Washington was well aware that Adam Weishaupt's radical brand of Freemasonry, the Illuminati, had spread its poison to America. It doesn't matter who the people voted for, they always vote for us." And that's an Illuminati statement. Certainly they destroyed the monarchies of Europe. They powerfully destroyed all their opposition. First, France. Then
this present window of opportunity,
Russia.
during which a
Then
truly peaceful
Germany.
and interdependent world order might be built, will not be here for too long.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order.